Hello and welcome to Pots and Trowels. We've come inside because it's so cold out in the garden at the moment, and we're going to have a look at a few plants that you can have in the house over Christmas. And we've also got some ideas for presents for gardeners if you've got a last minute present to buy. So if you're a gardener and your other half hasn't bought you a present yet, make sure they watch because they might get a few tips. Well, houseplants are really popular as presents at this time of the year, and there's some really good ones that have got festive colours like the point.
Mark, I've got you a present actually.
Well, that's very kind of you, Sean. Thank you. Can I open it now? Have I got to wait?
Why don't we do the houseplants and then we'll...
Okay. Yeah. Oh well, I've got something for you as well then. Yeah. Well, I didn't. Yes. Oh, lovely. I'm quite touched. Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Well, very often people give friends houseplants as presents at Christmas, and I've just got a few here just to give you a few hints and tips how to keep them looking healthy, because they all need slightly different conditions. One of the most popular ones we get at this time of the year is this one. This is the poinsettia, and they're known for these beautiful bright red bracts. They start off green, it's really a leaf, and then it turns red as the nights draw in, and then the little flower clusters are there in the centre. Now this originates from Mexico, where it's warm all year round, and the one thing that poinsettia hates more than anything else is being cold. So when it's bought, it needs to be kept warm as you bring it home in a sleeve of cardboard or paper or cellophane, and then once it's in the house it needs a constant temperature. It doesn't like to be warm in the day and freezing cold at night. So I wouldn't suggest you put it on a windowsill, for example, and then close the curtains on it, because it's going to be trapped on the cold side. So put it in the room in a good light position where there's no drafts, good temperature. Keep it moist but not wet, because if you overwater it wilts, and it should stay like that for weeks and weeks and weeks. So it's a really good one, especially over the festive period. One that likes it slightly cooler though is cyclamen. And this one will stand it really, really cool indeed, almost down to freezing. So if you've got a conservatory or a cold room in the house, this is a good one. They come in all different colours. This is a reddish one, but you can get pink ones and purple ones and lots of different colours with them. And they will flower and flower and flower. This is only just starting, but if you delve down inside there, I'm sure there are lots of flower buds. So they will flower. The secret is to keep them dead-headed. So as soon as a flower goes, pull out the whole flowering stalk, and only water this when the leaves look as if they're slightly starting to wilt. Then give it a good drink, they'll perk up, and then leave it again. So this one needs cool, so don't put it in a warm room next to a log burner or anything, because it will just hate it. And then here we've got a couple of orchids. The one at the back here is one that is probably the most popular of all the orchids that you'll get. This is the Phalaenopsis, often known as the moth orchid because of the shape of the flowers. And again, these come in a range of colours. This is a lovely clear white one, but you get pinks and mauves, ones with veining on them, and they'll last for years and years as a house plant. This one has been in flower for a while, so if we look at this one here, we can see that the flowers are just starting to go over now on this stem here, but these are in full flower. And what we do with these is keep them in a fairly warm room. We don't overwater them, so water them on the sink, let the water run through the pot. They're always grown in these transparent pots, so let the water drain out before you put it back into the pot cover, because if it stands in water, they rot very, very quickly. Let it dry out again before you water it, but a good light position in a warmish room, it will flower for months and months and months. And then lastly, we've got this one, another type of orchid. This one is sometimes called the cane orchid. It's a dendrobium, and you get clusters of flowers all up the stem. Really, really interesting plant. Again, keep this one moist, warmish room, good light position, and the flowers will last for quite a long time. And again, only water when they start to dry out. Overwatering kills more houseplants than anything else. And the good thing about these dendrobiums, when it does finish flowering, and you can see it's making this new stem. So when this old flowering stem eventually goes, we cut that down to ground level down there. This one would grow and tie it to the cane, and this is the one that has the flowers on next year. So again, it's a plant that you can keep for a few years in the house. So good range there. Look after them and enjoy them, because they really do brighten up the room over Christmas. Now, I always think it's easy to buy presents for gardeners, but I've got a few ideas here, last minute things you can go out and get very quickly if you've not already bought a present for somebody. So first thing, something as simple as seeds. It's always worth buying gardeners' seeds, a nice selection of herbs and vegetables and flowers. They'll be really handy and they can use them anytime next year. So seeds, top of the list. It's also good to buy somebody a very simple stocking filler, something like a pH tester. This is really good. It will tell you what the acidity is in your soil. So if you want to grow rhododendrons, for example, that need an acid soil, it's worth testing the soil first. Otherwise, you're just going to waste a load of money on plants that don't grow in your soil. These only cost a few pounds, so a nice little stocking filler. We've got to think about feeding the birds, so a nice new bird feeder and a stock of food to go in it is always very welcome indeed. So that's something that you can enjoy. Watch the birds feeding while you're sitting in the house. And then lastly, you know, books and magazines. Get somebody a subscription to a magazine. You know, a weekly or a monthly. This is a weekly called Garden News. It's got loads of jobs in there, and it just so happens I write for it as well. So that's a good one to get, and it tells you what to do all through the year, just as we do here on Pots and Trowels. So loads of last minute things you can get for friends and loved ones for Christmas.
Can I open my present up?
You can open your present, yes.
Oh, good.
I bet you wish you'd got 3 hands now, don't you?
I know, it's going to be...
Shall I hold that end and you can pull it out?
Hey. Oh, fantastic, thank you.
Well, I thought, you know, you've filmed me pruning for years and years and years. It's actually time now that you started to do a bit of pruning in your garden.
Fantastic.
In fact, you could prune, I could film. That's the way we could do it. Can I open mine as well?
Yeah, go on then, let's have a look.
It's not a pair of slippers, is it? No, it's not a spade, obviously, I can tell that. Oh, this is very exciting. Oh, look at that. Well, that is amazing. Just what I've always wanted. Oh, it's a pair of... Oh, you know me so well. Thank you very much. Oh, I shall put that at the side of my bed. Wonderful. Well, thank you for watching Pots and Trowels. Hope you've enjoyed it. We certainly have, and hope you have a really, really happy Christmas. But doesn't mean we won't be here next week, because we will, with even more jobs. So tell all your friends so they can watch it and share it on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you.